The crypto space has been going absolutely crazy recently. I don't think I've left my computer in like 12 hours because Bitcoin just dropped to what? 66,000? I believe right now this minute just got back above 70, but it's been a journey. But no joke, all across the board, everything has just been falling. It's just the last hour that things are starting to pick back up. But let me tell you two things straight away. First of all, whenever there's a dip like this, I buy. And second of all, some YouTubers will tell you, don't buy yet, wait for even further lows. And my response to that is, if you do that, you will always be in doubt. The best thing, in my opinion, not financial advice, is to just buy every single time it goes down lower. So let's say you've got $1,000 right now. A plan then would be to buy, for example, $100 now and wait again to perhaps put another $150 in if things go lower. Now, you might say, oh, but then I'll regret not putting the whole money in. There will always be some regret regardless of the choice you make because you'll never make the right one. There can always be a more optimal choice. To put it into perspective, you could have also borrowed more money. You could have also opened a higher leveraged long position. You could have bought lower. You could have bought another altcoin. Or on the opposite side, you could have waited slightly longer. You shouldn't have bought. You should have shorted actually, or you should have used more leverage. Or you should have bought another altcoin because even though crypto or Bitcoin dumped, some coins like for example Jupiter are up a ton today. You know, Say is up, Fetch again is up, and many things are just doing really, really well again now in the last like hour or so, but you get the idea. Anyway, I just wanted to make an update here and tell you guys my plan, my game plan, while also keeping you guys up to date with some of the craziest news because I think the biggest headline of today has gotta be that Sam Bankman-Fried is now prosecuted for 40 to 50 years in prison for the whole FTX debacle. Now, whether or not he deserved it or not, you know what's interesting to me? If he just did not get kind of screwed over in that little time span of a few months, he probably would have gotten away with it and right now would be, instead of the 41st richest person in America, he'd probably be in like the top 20. Perhaps even top 10, because they basically made one of the craziest gambles ever, and it barely worked. I guess it barely didn't work, I should say. Now, truth be told, I don't think it's going to be too long of a sentence, but hey, I know almost nothing about law, so please don't ask me. It's just interesting that they're quoting 40 to 50 years. Imagine that. I mean, Bernie Madoff also got a, 150-year sentence? Let me quickly note here that I was supposed to upload 2 videos yesterday. If you're asking, oh, Dusty, where have you gone? But for some reason, I sometimes mess up with scheduling. And because I travel so much, you can see I'm in a different country again. The time zone messes up and it doesn't go the way I planned it. Anyway, so I still have 2 videos left. I might post them in like a few hours here. They might not look perfect, but the message still applies. One is on how to buy meme coins because it's been requested like crazy. And the other is on some of the top coins I'm looking into. So just stick around for those if you'd like. Anyway, some of the crazy news that's been around is the senators urge the SEC to halt further crypto ETF approvals. Now on this, I'd say that's kind of bullish, kind of bearish. The reason I'm saying that's kind of bullish is because if you think about it, the fact that they're paying so much attention and they see so much money going towards it is why they want to stop it. The reason it's bearish is because the more of these things we have, the more money that can flow in, right? Senators believe the SEC made a mistake approving it though, but at the end of the day, I think they'll just try to use this as an excuse to get the Ethereum ETF disapproved, but they're not going to take away the Bitcoin ETF or anything like that. BlackRock lawyers too good for that, huh? About 50 minutes have actually passed. I've gotten distracted because now over the last couple of hours, I've seen how crazy crypto is getting. We'll get to that in a second. Ether spot ETF's end of May approval odds plummet to 28% on Polymarket, all after the announcement of this negative crypto news we just got. Let me get to that crazy stuff. So I don't know if you guys have been noticing it as well. First of all, I've made many top coin videos, right? You guys probably know that. And I've often said, you guys are still early. But the problem is at some point that ain't true no more. And we have to start believing now that Bitcoin is back at all-time high, that this early phase is pretty much over. Now you're just kind of like going with the flow where most people start finding out. You're not very late, but you are getting later and later to the party. And the reason I'm saying that as a skeptical thing is because the valuation of projects. A meme coin was just announced on Twitter. Somebody said, hey, send me money, we're going to launch a meme. The guy raised, I think, $8 or $9 million in a few hours. That says something. Another meme coin had a pre-sale, I think yesterday or the day before. People 20x their money, but the idea is people are just now going into ape mode, specifically because of the meme season. But also from another side, a lot of you guys don't have access to this, but the projects, some massive projects that are raising, are now starting to all of a sudden go for the multiple billion-dollar valuations, and that's quite scary because very often they're not worth that. They just know they can ask it because there's hype. And the problem with that is that they're raising at such a high valuation, and Mark Cuban has a good saying about it, that eventually things implode because people get too greedy and because people keep funding money thinking it's going to be another moonshot, another one. Because I'll tell you one thing. When most people expect something to happen, it ends up not happening. So if the analogy we keep talking about is that, if we keep talking about Bitcoin repeating a cycle, it doing the same thing time and time again, and where 69,000 was the previous all-time high, this time it's probably going to be 150, whatever. Even though it makes sense from my perspective, the reason that I get more skeptical now is because things are moving so much faster. Major players have joined the game, for which I know now it cannot die because of that. But the expectations of price and the volatility and the breaking of the cycle might also now sort of change, mostly because of the idea that everybody is thinking, yes, it's up only. And for that reason, I sometimes don't understand why people sell at points like this when guys like BlackRock just had their biggest days ever. But on the opposite side, I guess that's kind of why, right? We're at some of the highest prices we've ever seen. Some people have made so much money on this, they're happy and satisfied to not take a further risk. And they understand as well that at some point it is going to come crumbling down, and that the more people believe it will go up forever, the worse your odds get. At the same time, we've been saying this for a long time, that Solana just keeps on going. And partially for that reason, I think that the Solana meme coins are just so extremely hot. And as I've stated in many of my videos, I think it's a double effect where because Solana meme coins are going so hot, Solana's going hot, but it's nearly back at $200. And I've said before, I think this market cap, right, the highest point for Solana will probably be above $1,000. I still believe that to this day. And for anybody who says I gotta put my money where my mouth is or whatever, well, you can see my trade is now in, it's opposite way, but hey, at 1,000% profit almost. Had this long position opens to 65. I told you guys, one of the biggest gambles I've made in my life, I guess, is that I put money that was my stablecoin fund into Solana at 65 and kind of like 67, and even I think maybe 72 or so dollars. Maybe it was actually 75. I don't remember exactly where. With the idea of either it goes up and I'm happy, or it goes down and I lose my stablecoin stash. And within a few days, it was at 130. Well, at the beginning though, it was down a lot. So I was kind of like, I lost. But now I've actually just decided to think about it differently. I just made a new stash for stablecoins. And I've turned that into my Solana fund, which is just Solana. And it's done really amazing over time because again, Solana actually has just been up only since $19. It's done a 10x this year, which again should make people realize if you think you can't make money off of massive cap coins, Solana will prove you differently. At 85 billion, it's, I know to a lot of people a lot, but it's relatively still nothing in the grand scheme of money. 85 billion is a lot, but the US dollar is also a lot, and that philosophy is kind of more stupid. Anyway, I will not tell you that this is going to be up only from here for every single coin. I mean, the last hour we've been recovering because Bitcoin is finding its footing. Perhaps some Solana enthusiasm is also coming along. And BNB, by the way, it's just been a slow but steady, like the tortoise wins the race type of character, where it's like only 10% away from its all-time high. Regardless, I think if we look back in a few months, every single thing you see here will be up massively. It's just a matter of, short term, are you able to handle it? But if you buy every dip, personally, right, I think you'll be completely fine and make tons of gains. And that's kind of still what I'm up to right now. Whenever I see dips, I just go for them. Again, we can see another more massive dip tomorrow, but I don't really care because I know crypto is here to stay. And so it's all about getting the cheapest coins. And of course, to have some money around for when things get even worse. But yeah. 2 videos coming up, a video on my top coins and one on how to buy meme coins. Wanted to post it earlier, but I couldn't. And remember guys, things can fall down and I'm not here to tell you, oh, Bitcoin's going up or down today, because at the end of the day, nobody really knows. All we're trying to do here is explain the strategy of, as long as you're consistent with it, it's in my opinion, very hard to lose. And sometimes it might feel like, oh no, it's going down, it's gonna really fall from here. but people thought that too at 15,000, 17,000, 20,000. Heck, people thought so at $11 and $20 per Bitcoin, but ultimately it's only gone up. And if the whole BlackRock situation doesn't get you in a similar sort of mindset of, yeah, this kind of ain't going anywhere, then I don't know.